Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, July 21st, 2016. The main fire potential impacts for the next few days continue to be some wind moving into western Nevada today and up into Idaho tomorrow, and some isolated dry thunderstorms possible across western and northern Utah today, with continued mix of wet and dry thunderstorms over eastern Utah. Yesterday's precipitation and lightning activity was limited to far southern and eastern Utah, where some of the storms were accompanied by some light precipitation, particularly over the mountains of southern Utah. The last 7 days have been quite dry across the Great Basin, with really only southern and eastern Utah receiving any measurable precipitation. Fire activity has been picking up over the last week or so. Here's the current activity we're looking at, with some larger fires in western Nevada and western Wyoming. Current ERC percentiles are shown in the image on the right, and the image on the left are percentiles from about 2 weeks ago. The unusually warm and dry air mass that's been in place over the Great Basin has significantly increased fire danger across the Great Basin, with many stations moving above the 80th percentile. Another way to look at these trends is shown here, with a few of our areas highlighted, particularly western Wyoming, where the last few weeks have seen a very rapid increase in energy release component, as well as western Nevada, where those values are around the 90th percentile. This morning's water vapor imagery shows an area of low pressure off the coast of the Pacific Northwest in northern California. It's this low pressure system that's bringing wind to the Great Basin, with a high pressure system dominating virtually the rest of the continental U.S., bringing very warm temperatures to the Great Basin. Today's significant fire potential shows highlights for wind across far western Nevada, and some dry thunderstorms possible over northern and western Utah. Gusts are shown here in more detail, with really the strongest gusts being limited to western Nevada. Elsewhere across Nevada and Utah we will see some breezy conditions, but not quite meeting our criteria. Image on the right shows where we're expecting those thunderstorms to be popping up this afternoon, with a little bit of a push further north and west into Utah today from yesterday's extent. And these areas have been extremely dry, so any fires that do start could potentially become a problem. On Friday, that low moves inland across the southern Canadian border. This will increase winds across the state of Idaho and cause the moisture in Utah to return to the eastern and southern portions of the state. Wind gusts will be strongest over central and eastern Idaho and western Wyoming tomorrow afternoon, associated with that low, and thunderstorms will become a little more isolated and once again limited to central and eastern Utah. On Saturday, generally westerly flow returns to the Great Basin, clearing out most of the moisture, even in Utah. And the high weakens somewhat in the wake of that low, bringing slightly cooler temperatures to the region. Minimum relative humidities will still be quite low, with single digits across much of Nevada, western Utah, and southern Idaho. Maximum temperatures will be in the low 90s across southern Idaho and northern Utah, with slightly higher maximum temperatures over western Nevada. 3-day precipitation accumulations are shown here, with that precipitation being limited to central and eastern Utah, mainly for today and tomorrow. Another warm, dry day is expected on Sunday across the Great Basin, and on Monday a return of some moisture is possible across the southern tier of the Great Basin, mainly southern Nevada and far southwest Utah. This moisture looks to linger a little bit into Tuesday and even into Wednesday, but mainly being limited to the southern third of the area. Precipitation accumulations for next Tuesday and Wednesday are shown here, with the best chance for precip occurring across the far southern tip of the area, with maybe a little bit of moisture working its way up into southern Utah. The extended forecast from the Climate Prediction Center is putting the center of the high pressure over Nevada, which will keep temperatures very warm across the Great Basin, particularly over Nevada. And they're calling for an increased chance of precipitation across southern Nevada and southwest Utah. This could change the area where we've seen thunderstorms for the last little while, particularly over central Nevada, where conditions have been very dry and fuels are quite dry. As we get into this time frame, going towards the end of July and first part of August, we'll certainly want to watch where that moisture comes up and where those thunderstorms could be happening. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.